Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bonolo, and I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on comprehension and note making skills. Basically, what I'll be dealing with right now is showing you how the two relate and the importance of note making whilst you are actually reading a comprehension. Now, before you, we have a diagram that is written note making, right? The first pointer that is in orange says what for. Now, note making is helpful as a memory aid. It helps you understand better as you make your notes, and it's also good for exam revision. If you've made notes on your comprehension or your text or whatever that you're using, it is easy to study from those notes because now it makes you understand better and it helps you remember things because now you won't always remember everything that you have been taught in class. So it is good for you to make notes as you read along. Now, the other one says when, right? Now this tells you when you make notes. You can make notes during lectures, during tutorials for one, when you're reading books, in seminars. So, but the general idea is that you make notes as you read and as you try to understand certain things. That's when you make notes. You note down things you feel that you need to remember, right? Say that in a tutorial, as we were reading the Soltital article in the tutorial, we had to make notes and identify new words. We had to identify main ideas. We had to identify the concepts that were important. We identified a lot of things. We explained certain ideas, and it will be easy for you to deal with the questions that will follow once you've made notes, because as we go along you learn to understand, and it helps you remember the things that we were dealing with, right? So how do we make notes, right? We make notes in different ways because we understand things differently or because we are different types of people, right? But one thing that you must understand about is that notes must be spaced, right? Because you must be able to see clearly from your notes, because you might actually use it for studying or to remind yourself of certain ideas or concepts. So your notes must have space. The other thing about your notes is that your notes must be memorable, right? You must, if you are using abbreviations, if you're using some sort of illustration, you must be able to remember the idea that you jotted down from whatever abbreviation or shorthand note that you made on your comprehension or otherwise, right? Your notes must be organized. Usually when you take shorthand notes, you make the notes as closest to the point as you can make. But if you make notes separately, maybe, or on another page, make sure that your notes are organized and you know which note relates to which concept or which idea, right? You can use numbers, you can use letters, you can make references, right? But going back to memorable, your notes must be memorable, right? Say that you are a very visual student and maybe you learn by color. You can make your notes colorful so that you know that, so that maybe it might be easy for you to remember in that way. Emphasize, put emphasis on your notes so that you know that this is important. I must understand this, right? Then you basically, but we will make notes in different ways. There are many ways of making notes, right? The first one, the first one I will discuss with you is the outline. This is where you outline your ideas. You just write them down properly, maybe just to jot them down and say you're just basically outlining the main ideas, knowing that you understand the concept and you'll be able to remember. Now, the advantage of this method is that it is more visual, right? It allows for this and allows for the structure. It forces the note taker to create main points. Now, if you've created main points, you will naturally understand or you will naturally remember what follows from those main points or what it was that actually interested you or made you make the note in the first place, right? But a disadvantage of this is that sometimes the material is not conducive or provided in such a format that lends itself to outlining, right? So sometimes maybe you get a story that you can't really, you can't really make notes that you outline. So that's why I'm saying sometimes you have to make shorthand notes on the comprehension or whatsoever, if you can, or if it is easier for you to do that, right? Another way is the mapping method, right? If you are maybe a very visual student, and maybe you understand diagrams better, you can mind map. And mind maps, I find them quite proper to use, because now you clearly see how ideas connect with each other. So when you're making a map, you see there's a mind map before you. It says preparing a place to study, find space, make it comfortable. Now you know how these two relate, and I feel that mind mapping makes you use a little less space than you would if you were outlining your main points or however. And then there's another picture that says flag your strategy, right? You can flag your notes with colors, right? If you are again maybe a very visual student who understand things more maybe by remembering colors, or if you're a very creative student yourself, it would be easy to note down your things using your colors, right? So there's a few guidelines there. The first one says connect. Flag where a character, plot, event, or setting reminds you of something, right? Maybe if you can connect whatever idea that you're reading with to something else, note that down to say, like, okay, this is how you will best understand it, because that connects to something else that you know that you would easily remember, right? Question. Flag a point where you had a question about something, right? Where you don't really understand something, maybe put a question mark just to flag it and say, I need to go back to this, or I need clarity on this, right? As you make your notes. Meaning that sometimes it would be better to make your notes on time, so maybe you can consult your lecturer as to the questions you have, right? And then the other guidelines is infer or predict. Flag where you have used the author's clues to figure something out, when you have stopped to make a new prediction. Sometimes you have to infer as you read and as you develop your own understanding. You have to find you yourself will have to understand from your own point of view and make inferences, and predict where maybe the idea is leading to, or what the idea is there, right? Then you have to monitor for meaning and clarity. So sometimes you'll find that things are not written in the simplest meaning, right? So you have to, you yourself, monitor them and check, read the sentence or the paragraph in context and try to see what is being said there. Then you'll note that down, because now your understanding is developing, because now you get to make simpler meanings for yourself, which you understand. Then you evaluate. And as you evaluate, there are things that will come up and things that you feel that you will have to note. Maybe you'll find new words that you feel that you don't know what they mean. Then you'll put an asterisk or something next to the word, just to find out what it means. Like I said, you can also take shorthand notes. I think they work better when you're reading comprehensions particularly. This is when you use your pencil to make short notes, maybe as you read along, maybe just next to a word or next to under a sentence on top, making arrows that lead to maybe explanations or definitions of new words, or however so you wish to. Whatever you feel is necessary to note down, you can do that by shorthand on your comprehension. And with that being said, guys, that is all I can teach, or that is all that I was prepared to teach based on note taking and comprehension skills. Thank you.